Yo, what is up, everyone? It is Horror Planet here, and it's been about 20 seconds since we recorded the other one. But for you guys, it's probably going to be about 3 days before we post this one. Uh, right now, we're going to be reacting to the mysterious disappearance of the Soder children, or Soder children. I don't know how to pronounce that one very well. But yeah, guys, make sure to like, subscribe, hit that bell notification, and comment down below if you came over from Instagram and what mystery should we react to next. Do you have anything to add to this case before we start? Since you have seen this, I have not seen this one either. But yeah,
This one's also a crazy one, and I think everyone here is gonna enjoy this case. It's gonna intrigue them, and it's definitely gonna get some theories going.
yeah. For what you told me, I think I'm more excited about this one than the other one. This will be a little bit longer video, guys. This one is 16 minutes long, 17 minutes pretty much. So grab some popcorn, grab something to eat, put this on the TV, call your mom over if she likes this stuff. Even if she doesn't, call her your mom over, call your dad over, because we are recording this on Father's Day. It won't be posted on Father's Day, but happy Father's Day to you guys. And honestly, we're going to give a big shout out to India. We were just talking about this.
Oh
You
my
guys
God.
are like our number one supporters, and we appreciate you guys. The top three countries that we have is America, India, and Brazil. So shout out to you guys, and especially India, because you guys interact the most with us, and we appreciate all the DMs we get from you guys and all the love and all the support. And we couldn't be thankful and grateful enough for you guys. But yeah, let's get started.
This week on BuzzFeed Unsolved, we cover the mysterious disappearance of the Soder children. You look enthralled.
Also, let's be respectful in this case as well. Okay. I don't want to really see any disrespectful things because it's a real case. Just put yourself in these people's shoes. Yeah.
You look really excited.
I can't wait.
I think you're about to have your mind blown.
We'll see.
Okay, cool. Let's get into it. The year was 1945, on the night before Christmas in Fayetteville, West Virginia. George and Jenny Soder, along with 9 of their children, were asleep when a fire started in the house at around 1 a.m. George, Jenny, and 4 of their children escaped: Sylvia, Marion, John, and George Jr. The children that remained in the house were Maurice, Martha, Louis, Jenny, and Betty, and the 5 of them shared 2 bedrooms between them, both rooms upstairs. George broke back into the house to save the rest of the children, but the staircase was on fire. When he went outside to retrieve his ladder, it was missing from its normal spot, and both of his coal trucks, which he wanted to use to park outside and climb on top of, were strangely not starting.
Don't park your coal truck by a fire. That's a bad idea.
Yeah, I mean, I can't imagine there was coal in the truck at
Oh,
the time.
okay.
I'm sure it was emptied of coal.
Well, I don't know. It's a coal truck.
He just climbs on top of a pile of coal.
It's all just covered in flammable coal, jumping into a house. Bad idea.
Marion, one of the children who escaped the fire, ran to the neighbor's house to call the fire department, but the operator didn't respond, and when a different neighbor attempted to call, she also got no response from the operator. That same neighbor actually drove to town and found the fire chief, F.J. Morris, in person. But even though the fire department was only located 2.5 miles away from the home, the firefighters bizarrely didn't reach the Soder house until 8 a.m., 7 hours after the fire began. And by the time they arrived, the house was literally ash.
Time to reevaluate your staff there.
You really see where your tax money's going there.
That's not like, oh boy, we really dropped the ball on that one. That's like firefighters from Florida could have driven up there in time.
In their defense, it was Christmas Eve.
Oh, it's fine if people die
So
on Christmas
they
Eve.
tried calling. I'm not saying I'm condoning them for being 7 hours late to a fire that was 2.5 miles away.
It's just not great.
In fact, I'm pretty sure I could run that in probably about an hour at least.
I could spit the fire out
I
in
could
that
probably
time.
chug a
I
beer
could just
and run
spit on the fire.
Just... Authorities scavenged the ashes of the fire looking for the remains of the 5 missing Soder children, but nothing was found, and they were presumed dead due to the fire. The fire chief, F.J. Morris, suggested that the fire may have been so hot that it completely cremated the children's bodies, including their bones. While that theory sounds reasonable, it is not entirely accurate, because when flesh is burned away, bones are still typically left behind, likely in fragmented form. Additionally, there was no smell of burning flesh reported during or after the fire. The cause of the fire was deemed to be bad wiring in the house, and in the week after, the Fayetteville coroner's office issued death certificates for the 5 Soder children. The basement of the house still remained, and George would later use a bulldozer to cover it up with 5 feet of dirt to create a memorial to his children. Soon after the fire, George and Jenny began to suspect their children were not dead, but instead kidnapped, believing the fire was deliberately set as a diversion and not the result of faulty wiring. In fact, George had actually had the wiring in his house checked earlier that fall by the power company, which had deemed the wiring in safe working order.
Who said the wiring was faulty?
Somebody in the coroner's office. You'll see why they may have done this later, but
okay.
anyways. But before we dig into the theory that the children were kidnapped, let's discuss George's personal history to provide some context.
Ooh.
George Soder had immigrated from Italy, and Fayetteville, where the Soders lived, had a small but engaged Italian immigrant community, a community that George was very vocal in, especially about his disdain for Mussolini, sparking a few heated debates in the community.
We know you're hovering over that button, but we need your help.
God
Click
dang
on
it,
that
bro.
button, we
These
promise.
ads.
George also reportedly never revealed why he left Italy, leading some to speculate that he may have been involved in some shady business in Italy. Many believe that either of these reasons may have led to the kidnapping of George's children. Let's examine some curious occurrences that support a possible kidnapping. In the fall, just before the house fire, a life insurance salesman came to the house, and when he saw that his sale wasn't going to be successful, he became infuriated, yelling at George, quote, "Your goddamn house is going up in smoke, and your children are going to be destroyed. You're going to be paid for the dirty remarks you have been making about Mussolini," end quote.
Ryan, I think we've solved it. All right, well, it's been fun. See you later. I will set this house on fire, and your children are going to die. Huh. Who could it be? Who could have done this?
Seems a little on the nose for me. He just listed every single aspect of the case in nice, easy, laid out fashion.
House on fire, kids are gonna go up and yeah.
It was like the third act of a student film when they had to wrap everything up in exposition and dialogue.
Yeah. And this, oh shit, it's due tomorrow.
In the days leading up to the fire, 2 of the surviving Soder sons witnessed a man watching the younger Soder children come home from school on Highway 21. Another suspicious occurrence happened that night. On the night of the fire at around 12:30 a.m., the phone rang, and Jenny got out of bed to answer. This would result in an important observation. Jenny noticed the lights were still on downstairs. As she started to fall back asleep, she heard a loud bang on the roof, followed by the sound of something rolling. And an hour later, she woke to the smell of smoke entering her room downstairs. The detail that is interesting is the fact that the lights were still on. If the fire had been caused by faulty wiring, as had been suggested, then that meant there wouldn't have been power to the house, meaning that the lights shouldn't have been working. But Jenny saw that they were on about an hour before the smoke. And later, the Soders would claim that they saw the lights on while the fire was occurring as well. Additionally, a witness to the fire claimed that they saw a man removing a block and tackle typically used for removing engines from cars, perhaps explaining why both of George's trucks weren't working that night.
Did they, as their post-mortem, did they look in the cars to see if there were engines in them? No.
No.
Okay.
I mean, I don't think he removed the engines completely because it's not like he could waddle away with really heavy engines. I think maybe he just tampered with it, just pull a couple wires here and there.
Okay.
This is all a possibility.
It sure is.
I'm just presenting the case here, all right? After the fire, when the family visited the memorial George had set up, Sylvia found a hard rubber object in the yard, an object that Jenny believed may have caused the loud bang that woke her that night. But even more interesting was the fact that after further inspection from George, he believed the object was a napalm pineapple bomb, similar to those used in the war at the time.
I mean, it sounds like someone set the house on fire.
Yeah, it clearly does. I think we have enough here to say,
Yeah.
someone probably set the house on fire. Probably was a faulty wiring. With all these strange occurrences and not believing that the fire could have burned her children's bones to ash, Jenny began to experiment by burning different types of animal bones, all of which left remains. She spoke to a crematorium employee who told her that in cremation, bones were left behind even after bodies burned at 2,000 degrees Fahrenheit for 2 hours, and the Soder home only burned for about 45 minutes. Also noteworthy is the fact that remains of household appliances were found in the rubble, meaning not everything was ash. Mm-hmm. So clearly, there should have been bones left.
Should have been bones.
There have also been reported sightings of the children. One occurred that night while the fire was still burning. A woman claimed to see the children in a car that drove by while the fire was still raging. 50 miles west of Fayetteville, a woman who operated a tourist stop told police that she saw the children the morning after the fire. Quote, "I served them breakfast. There was a car with Florida license plates at the tourist court too." End quote.
Nice of her.
Yeah. At a whole...
Giving her breakfast.
Yeah, I mean, she's just...
It's nice to have breakfast.
Okay, well, yeah, I agree. Breakfast is nice. I enjoy bacon.
Agree to agree.
What are we doing here? At a hotel in nearby Charleston, a woman reported seeing 4 of the 5 children about a week after the fire. Here's her statement to the police. Quote, "The children were accompanied by 2 women and 2 men, all of Italian extraction. I do not remember the exact date. I tried to talk to the children in a friendly manner, but the man appeared hostile and refused to allow me to talk to these children. I sensed that I was being frozen out, and so I said nothing more. They left early the next morning." A few years later, George saw a photo of New York City school children in a newspaper, and one of the kids looked like his missing daughter, Betty. George drove all the way to New York to investigate, but once he tracked down the child's parents, they declined to speak with him. In 1947, 2 years after the fire, George and Jenny attempted to involve the FBI, who offered to help, but in a curious turn of events, the Fayetteville Police and Fire Departments both denied their offer. What do you gain in denying to help the FBI? All you have to do is give a couple interviews, maybe? Like, what?
Yeah, there's a lot of paperwork.
How busy is this fire department?
They're probably not that busy, but that's probably how they like it.
I think there's some shady shit going on there, but that's just my opinion. George and Jenny turned to a private investigator named C.C. Tinsley.
Yeah. C.C. Tinsley's here.
That does sound
What you say? No bones, huh? Sounds like a case for C.C. Tinsley.
Apparently they got an investigator from a time machine. They dropped him back in a time machine.
1945, of course he said.
They did not speak
yeah.
like that. That's not how they spoke.
Yes, that's how they spoke.
One suspicious revelation occurred when Tinsley discovered that a member of the coroner's jury who decided the Soder house fire was an accident was the same life insurance salesman who had threatened George earlier in the fall.
Who put together this jury? The coroner? We're putting together a jury to investigate this crime. Can you wrangle up all the maybe some lunatic salesmen?
By the way, is there no police officer that knows how crime works? Like, how did they not interview this life salesman, man? Like,
I don't know. Look, I'm telling you, nobody knows how to do their job in this town.
it's unbelievable. Like, so you're telling me he screamed in your face that he's gonna murder your family?
Interesting.
Sounds like a good dude to me. I don't know what you're talking about.
Let's put him on that jury.
Another interesting find occurred when Tinsley interviewed townspeople about the fire. Tinsley heard a rumor from the town minister that the fire chief had been telling people that he'd actually found a heart in the ashes of the Soder home, and that he'd hidden it in a dynamite box and buried it where the home once stood.
Why does the minister tell rumors?
Tinsley persuaded the fire chief to show him where it was buried, but once dug up, the heart was actually beef liver and had never been in a fire.
What?
Oh, darn it, I accidentally... That's my darn sandwich. No wonder that sandwich tasted so bad the other day. I mixed them up.
Why the hell the chief did this was apparently to provide some closure to the Soder family. I guess you could say it's a heartfelt gesture.
Ryan?
Oh,
no.
shit.
No,
man. See you guys later.
Nope, sit down.
In August 1949, the Soders hired a pathologist named Oscar B. Hunter, who excavated the dirt that covered the Soder basement and the remains of the house. He found 4 shards of human vertebrae and sent this to the Smithsonian for analysis. They hypothesized that the bones were from a 16 to 17-year-old person. However, the oldest missing Soder child was a 14-year-old boy, making it improbable that the bones belonged to him. They also stated that there was no evidence that the bones had been exposed to fire, and that the bones likely originated from the dirt George Soder used to fill the basement, rather than the remains of the house. This was before DNA investigation had come into play, and according to the Smithsonian, the bones were given back to George Soder, but their current whereabouts remains a mystery.
What did he do with them? Just
Exactly, no one knows. Huge tragedy that we can't DNA analyze those bones to see if they belong to the Soder children. Yeah. After the Smithsonian revealed their findings, West Virginia Governor Oki L. Patterson called a hearing in the state capitol building in Charleston, West Virginia, where he officially declared the Soder case to be closed, telling George and Jenny that their search was, quote, hopeless, end quote. This led to George and Jenny setting up a billboard on Route 16 advertising their missing children, where it remained for nearly 40 years.
40 years? They're tenacious.
I mean, to be fair, if it was my kids, I wouldn't stop, and
Yeah, I guess if 5 of your kids have vanished.
Oh, and also a salesman screamed in my face, "I'm gonna burn your house down and murder your family."
Yeah.
Then I think I would probably keep searching. The billboard kept the story alive and mentioned details such as the children being kidnapped, the fact that the faulty wiring did not cause the fire, the fact that there was no bones or residue found, and lastly, accused the law officers involved of a cover-up. Quote, "What was the motive of the law officers involved? What did they have to gain by making us suffer all these years of injustice? Why did they lie and force us to accept those lies?" End quote. People around town had various theories. Some believed the mafia had been involved. Others believed the children were now in Italy or that they had been sold to an orphanage. The family received a letter from a woman in St. Louis saying that the oldest missing daughter, Martha, was in a convent there in St. Louis. Someone in Florida also said the missing children were living with Jenny's distant relative. And the ever-diligent George Soder investigated all these tips, but each came up empty. Another hopeful tip came in 1968, 23 years after the fire, in the form of a photograph sent to Jenny specifically addressed to her, not the family. There was no return address on the letter, but it was postmarked in Kentucky. The photo was a man in his mid-20s. George and Jenny believed this could be their son Louis, who was 9 at the time of the fire. The man in the picture had the same dark brown eyes, dark curly hair, strong straight nose, and upwardly tilting left eyebrow. On the back, it had a handwritten note. Quote, "Louis Soder, I love brother Frankie, Lil Boys, A90132 or 35, end quote. They hired a private detective to go to Kentucky and find him, but strangely, the detective was never heard from again.
I think that's the first time I've ever heard of a detective going missing. That's like a fish drowning.
And you know what's strange about this? On the internet, nobody seems to really care about this point.
When a detective goes missing, you've got some pretty powerful adversaries. I'd say it's time to quit the game.
Some on the internet have theorized the detective took the money and ran, but nobody knows what happened to him for sure.
I don't think the detective would have taken the money and run though, because if you're a private eye, unless it was if it was enough to survive for the rest of his life.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, why would? Yeah, that's.
He's probably built up a nice client base. He's got to throw his Rolodex.
It's not like that. Like they gave him $1 million.
Right,
it was probably like 5,000. That's what the
enough
poster
for a few
said.
Sandwiches.
Yeah, that's a lot. I mean, those are some big sandwiches.
Right.
But yeah,
Hey.
point taken. George Soder passed away shortly after in 1969 at the age of 74, and Jenny Soder passed away in 1989 at the age of 85. Sylvia, who was 2 at the time, is the last remaining Soder child alive. She maintains that her siblings did not die in the fire that night. Jenny Henthorne, Sylvia's daughter, told the Times West Virginian to post any information on websleuths.com. Quote, "My mom promised my grandmother that she would never let the story die. That's what my brother and I are doing now." End quote. After all these years, the question still remains. What really happened to the Soder children that one fateful night? Was this truly the result of a tragic house fire? Or were the children actually kidnapped? Hopefully, for the sake of the remaining family, all of these questions will be answered. But for now, the case remains unsolved. I do think that there was some foul play at hand here.
Something's going on. Someone took those kids.
You think they're still alive today?
Maybe.
Because they're still out there, I think. I believe they're out there.
They would have to be, right? If you have a parent who ever told you that they were stolen in a fire and given a wonderful breakfast the next day, let us know.
You just...
Wow, dude, that was
Mm-hmm.
I don't even know what to say.
Mm-hmm. It's wild, isn't it?
I think this was my favorite one between the two that we have
Mhm.
reacted to. I think these mysteries that people just go missing are crazy for me.
Mhm.
I have so many theories, like
Yeah,
I
what do you
think when they said that George ran away from Italy because he was doing some shady deals or something bad happened,
Mhm.
maybe he was involved with the mafia or the cartel. Not the
Mhm.
cartel, what the heck? The mafia. Maybe they paid off the people, like the sheriffs and the fire
Mhm.
department in the city. But what the heck was up with that? Not the sales guy, the health insurance guy or whatever. Not health insurance. What was he?
The guy with the heart.
No, the guy that said I'm gonna burn down your house and kill your
Oh, the
kids.
life insurance.
Yeah, the life insurance. Yeah, I said that. Not health insurance, life insurance. What the heck was up with him, bro? What?
Oh yeah, no. It's
Wow, yeah. And also the detective missing, man, just disappearing.
hmm
Dude, that was an
yeah.
interesting case for sure.
I think it has ties right back to the mafia and the life insurance guy. He was saying because of he'll pay for what he said about Mussolini. So I think it had
Yeah.
something to do with the mafia and
Mm-hmm.
Mussolini supporters. So
Yeah, dude, for sure. There is a lot of questions. Do you think they're still alive?
I don't. I think that they were in fact kidnapped, and I think they were sold into shady business, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Not sure if I can say what it is on YouTube.
Yeah, but I'm pretty sure you guys are pretty smart. You guys like horror stuff, so and scary things. So I'm pretty sure you guys can piece it together what she means. I agree with you. When they said that they were sold to an orphanage, I'm like, they got
Mhm.
sold, if anything. Not to an orphanage, but they got sold.
No, that's what I'm thinking. And that's why nobody can trace them down.
Yeah.
And the explaining the pictures, there was another case, I can't remember the name of it, but there was a case where this girl had went missing and they found like somebody had sent them a photo of her obviously in a shady position, I believe duct tape around her mouth. And I don't think it's uncommon for the killers to taunt the parents with, what they've done. And I think that's what they did with
Oh,
the
for
picture.
sure.
They're like, hey, we still have your son.
Yeah. Dude, I think the weirdest part for me was the detective going missing. Like they said, a
Mhm.
detective does not just go missing.
I
Unless
think he was
if
killed
it's
by
this,
the
I don't
shady
know.
people.
Maybe. Or he got paid a shit ton of money, but I don't
Mhm.
think he got paid. I think he got killed because I don't think the mafia would pay for a detective to be quiet
No, they're
if
gonna
it's
kill
the
him.
mafia. If it is a trafficking circle or a trafficking business,
Mhm.
they would never find the kids, dude. It is basically impossible. There's so many out there that we don't know about, or even the FBI doesn't know about.
And the traffickers, they're not gonna lose the money that they're literally trying so hard to earn. They're gonna kill
Oh
people.
yeah, they don't care. If they don't care about kids, they
They
don't care
don't
about anyone's lives.
they see the word FBI, they see the word police. They're not messing around with that. They're not gonna try
Yeah.
to risk giving money to them.
Mm-hmm.
They're gonna get rid of them.
For sure. It's interesting, this case. I really liked it, honestly. There's so many
Yeah.
questions, and none of them are answered. The only thing answered
No.
is the kids got kidnapped. The whole fire was a setup.
Oh,
Um,
absolutely.
I don't know why the guy would fake burying in a heart, because you
That
can.
was weird.
Yeah, that was very weird for me. Maybe they were just trying to uncover it and just like finish the case and be like, "You're dead. There's evidence or whatever." I wonder what they did also with the bones from
hmm
Morris. I think that
I wonder
was.
where those bones came from, but they
Yeah,
said that the bones didn't match with the kid that went missing with
Morris,
his age.
14. Yeah, well, there's four other kids, so it could have matched with them, but they didn't have the DNA back then. Should DNA
But
test
they
to do
weren't
it.
they weren't old enough either. The oldest was only 14.
True.
They were aging those bones for a 16 or 17-year-old.
Yeah, that's interesting. It's wow.
Yeah.
Well, what did you guys think? Let us know
Lewis,
down below. Why the heck's this all highlighted? That is so
Mm-mm.
weird. Well, let us know what you guys think down below. Let us know your theories. What do you guys think? We think they got sold on some trafficking thing, but it can be anything. They could be dead. They could have kidnapped them, just killed them. They could have kidnapped them, sold them. They could have kidnapped them and just I don't know. They could have done so many things, but they did not die in the fire. The fire was caused by someone. It was dude. Another thing was The guy that said it was a uh the energy, like it was an energy
Uh,
fault.
the napalm.
Yeah, it was like the electrical something that caused a fire to go off. Why would he say that, bro? Like did he get paid to say that or something?
Wait, saying that the
Because they said the fire was caused because of an electrical shortage.
faulty wiring,
Yeah, faulty wiring.
and they said that the lights were on.
Yeah, it was obviously not a faulty wiring.
No, it never was.
Yeah,
It never was. I think it was a huge, huge cover up by either the mafia, and I think from the mafia they were trafficked.
yeah, could have been, but we don't know. We're never gonna know. If they are still alive, I hope they're not trafficked. I hope they all have their own family. But I don't
Yeah.
think that's the case, unfortunately. Well, guys, this is where we're going to be ending off the video today. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Let us know if you guys want any other cases. And if you guys want us to react to any other videos. If you guys want us to react to some serial killer, some unsolved serial killer. You guys want us to react to the Zodiac. Man, the Zodiac, bro. That's a crazy case, especially now that they think they found who it is. But the guy's dead nowadays, so it's too late. So I just think that's a crazy case for me, the Zodiac killing. It's crazy, bro. I was really into it when I started reading about it. So if you guys
What
want
about the Phantom guy?
the who guy?
The Phantom guy, the Phantom Masked Killer. Oh man, that's a good one.
Dude, I've never heard of that one actually.
Have you ever heard of the movie called The Town of the Dreaded Sundown?
Yeah, I've seen that movie.
It's
Is it
based on the killer from that.
really?
Yeah, this guy terrorized this Lover's Lane spot just like in the movie, and they never found out who did it.
Wow, bro. Those are some smart people, bro. Honestly. I understand you getting away with it before DNA, but was he around when DNA was already out? DNA tests?
What's going on?
Was he around already when the DNA test things
I don't
were?
know. I can't remember. It's been a while since I've read up on it.
Yeah. Well, if you guys want to react to that, let us know. We'll give our opinions. But yeah, guys, let us know if you guys came over from Instagram. If you guys did not come over from Instagram, we have a horror account, which is not really related so much to the YouTube. We just post some scary clips that we think are very interesting. You guys are welcome to send us clips, and we'll credit you guys if you want. But yeah, guys, thank you guys so much for watching this video, and bye.